On a Saturday morning, it's nice to see many of you logged in. And so I definitely feel that whatever I'm going to share is nothing new. Most of the things are quite familiar, but only thing is once we reinforce certain things, what we have learned or what we are doing, it'll be fresh in our memory, and then it'll help us to do our work in the most effective way. So having said that, it is 10:15 and we can start off with the session. I would request everyone to kindly please put your phone on mute.
Okay, I will start and introduce. I don't think
Yes,
that I need to introduce Archana. Now, all of you know her. And my name is S. Parameswaran. Basically, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. Worked in Bharat Electronics for 15 years and have my consultancy and training organization under the name Zantic Knowledge Management Private Limited. And this is a new venture we have just started on the lockdown time. Somewhere in May we have started, and this is the 12th program which we are doing. And we are trying to call subject matter experts from various domains and ask them to share their experience, share their key areas of expertise so that everybody can learn. So this is basically a knowledge sharing platform. And any of you wanted to participate, they wanted to share some of their knowledge, platform is open to you. So you can either contact Rekha. Rekha is actually our office coordinator, and she takes care of all these background activities. And KVR is also my colleague, and he works with me. Today, Rekha had some problem. She is little sick, and KVR is actually going to back up for your support, Archana.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yes, go ahead. I don't want to introduce you. You introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So I will first share my screen. Yeah. So all of you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen now?
Yeah, it's fine, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, great.
You can put it in full screen mode.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Fine. Okay, great. I'm extremely happy, and it's my privilege to be here and sharing my knowledge with all of you on this very important and on-demand topic, which is work from home etiquette. And today we are going to focus on email and video calling etiquette and data protection or data security, and also see what is POSH, and let's learn whether POSH, whether it is applicable while we are working from home. So let me introduce. I am Archana Rajesh. I have about 22 years of experience in technology and training. So I'm extremely passionate about training, and the very fact that I can speak to people and gives me a lot of energy and knowledge, and the knowledge what I have sharing with you, and then learning. Of course, it's never a one-way thing. It's always a two-way learning, and I can also learn from you. I can share my knowledge with you. It's a wonderful platform. So without much delay, let's dive into our topic. So what happened to us initially during our lockdown period? That is what we are going to. We will just have an interaction regarding our topic, and this is what we are going to see today. How to prepare ourselves, and what is that? What is that when I say let's follow a routine, and the etiquettes. So most of you know me. These are my the details about me. Did this happen to most of us in the initial days when we heard about lockdown? That is, okay, now we are away from traffic. Now we have quality time. Yes, you can just mention that in the chat message so that I can also see. Yeah. So we were like, oh no, thank God, now there's no headache of traveling and quality time and all that. So initially you also would have seen everyone sending WhatsApp message, saying, I have cooked this, I have cooked that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. All were quite thrilled initially. Slowly what happened is, it was like, yeah, very good. Most of you are saying it was like holiday and all that. Yes. Slowly what happened, deep within our, the subtle mind, the negative information what we got to hear every day, that is, there is job, people are losing their jobs, the stock exchange is not doing well, there are people feeling very lonely, being at home, not going out, not meeting people. Each one of us had some kind, I'm sure would have had some kind of an insecurity or some kind of a thing which made us feel what our future is going to be like. How are we going to sail across this problem? What is the future looks like if I am in an industry like, different industries for that matter. We know that the hospitality industry and most of the industries has got a big hit, because even the training and industry for that matter. So these kind of uncertainties has brought in some kind of a depression in many of in people around us. Do you agree?
Yeah, in fact, some people have commented in the chat, ma'am.
Yes.
Multitasking and always busy, looking
Yes.
forward to peace time, traffic
Yes.
in Bangalore, a lot of rush, and then sir has said negative news depresses. We may
Yes.
need psychiatric help also.
Very good.
And,
very true. Yes.
One ma'am has said rule changes not to step out, and happy to be. Somebody else has said happy to be with family and spending more time, which was not possible. So
Yes.
we're getting both the
yes, definitely it's a mixed feeling, as I told you. Definitely in the beginning, when we heard, okay, because from a break from our very busy schedule what we had earlier, it was terrible, and okay, now let's relax. Okay, we were okay for 1 month, we were okay for 2 months, but as things move on in quite a similar situation, some kind of uncertainty, especially for people who are running their own business, or even for people who are working in some company, that has got a subtle effect. And we also get to hear that people go into depression, people commit suicide. We have seen many cases now in the newspaper that people are committing suicide for the simple fact that they're not able to, the very fact that we are able to meet people, talk to people. And even there is a psychological effect when you move from one room to another. Then imagine what will be the thing that will run in our mind when we are moving out of our house and then going out. Everything matters. So it's all a combination of how we feel in our mind and how we are going to react to that. Very good. Thank you so much for all your comments. Let's move on. Okay, so some of the things which we can follow is to follow a routine. So when we are going, while we were going to office every day, we used to, wake up early at a particular time and do our routine work and then come out. But what happened was, when we are working from home, what we try to do is we tend to do things in a little more lethargic way. Okay, which if we can try and avoid that and earlier, that will have an impact on our system, on our psychology, as well as our physical health. So early raising, as we all know, it's a very good thing. And many great authors like Robin Sharma, 5 AM Club and all that, they say that the early you rise, you can accomplish more, you can do your exercise, you can be fit, so many good things. And also, for our mental health, it is important we do exercise like yoga, meditation, whatever suits. Each one will have different style of taking care of their health. But it is very, very important that we stick to a routine, take care of our health, be physically fit at this point in time where the immunity levels also should be high, so that we if we fall a little sick, we can't even go to the hospital. Now I know that people are literally scared. Even if you're really unwell, you don't want to go to the hospital because of the fear of getting infected. And next important thing is be presentable. You know, we will also discuss that in the etiquettes that we are going to have. In the slides to come. It is very important to have a bath and be presentable, because it's your working day. It's not that we can still be comfortable in our nightwear and just log in and all that. No. So some people even say that it is important when we're doing our work to wear our footwear to feel that we are completely in office. So but people may not want to wear the footwear at home, but then that is being presentable is also a very important factor. And as we all know that, let's have a time block which we initially discussed. Let's set a time for ourselves. When we are working for companies where the geographical location, when it is at different different time zones and all that, sometimes it may not be possible for us to stick on to the time, like 9 to 7 p.m. or because we may have calls in the evening, we may have late night calls, whatever. But let's adjust our time in such a way that we fix up a time for work, and also we fix up a time with our family, so that we don't overlap this and finally feel stressed out. Okay, I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not getting time. No, if we plan our time in the right way, we will definitely have time for our work and also for other things. Okay, so the only thing is we have to plan. Suppose we have a late night call with one of our clients. What do? We have to definitely inform that to our family members, and then adjust our time. Probably we can wind up the work by 6:30 or 7. So it is not a hard and fast rule that if 9 to 7 or 9 to 6 works for me, I will not touch my laptop. It's not like that. Most of us are flexible, but the only thing is we should be able to allocate that time sincerely, so that we commit to our work and commit to our all other necessities. It's not that only work time and family. There are also so many other things which we have to handle, so we can do that effectively. Next point is, let's all find a corner where we don't get disturbed much, so we keep the expectation right when we are working. Like people, this is another problem. What I have, what I came to know from many of my friends, that especially when for women it's a challenge. For men it is okay, because for women, what happens, children are there at home, and then when in-laws are there, certain expectations are set that they should spend a little more, so the productivity shouldn't get affected because of that. So let's find a corner, a space, a spot for us, so that we set the expectation right with the family members as well. So we concentrate on what we are supposed to do, deliver that in an effective manner, and then have time for everything that we plan for the day. Of course, having a to-do list, this is not something new, which most of you must be already doing, to have a to-do list, so that we know by end of day what is that we need to accomplish. And if at all by any chance, if we are not able to do that, we can take it over to the next day. Then to develop a hobby, this is something which many of us have identified. I think if you could share with me some of the hobbies which you started during this COVID time. I will tell you mine. I have started reading a lot now compared to earlier. Earlier, by evening, whenever I used to take a book, that's all. It was like an intoxicant where I used to sleep the moment I take the book. But now I have dedicated certain time during the day for reading, and I have definitely improved on that. The time I spend to read something new. So you can also share with me what is that one hobby or something different that you have done during this time.
I've tried to look at ways to upskill myself.
Great. Okay. Teaching prayer and slokas to grandchildren. Wow, great. Then others? Anybody tried out new cuisines? New cuisines? Singing, wow, okay. Chitra singing.
Srilal sir says he attends the Zandig knowledge management every evening.
Wow, great. Upskill,
Yeah, Vandana ma'am.
excellent.
Upskill.
Cooking, great. Many of us have experimented and really have become a great cook, I think, you know. Bonding with the family, helping wife, great. Okay. Compulsory walking exercise in the morning, excellent. Exercise also at a fixed time, great. Very good. So like this time has actually, even though there are a lot of negative information that we get to hear from paper, TV, etc., there are also some very positive things we have, which we have implemented in our lives, right? Like many of them have, started to learn new skills like painting, etc. Like what you all said, each one of us have taken time to really do. That is very, very important, you know, because as we all know, idle mind is devil's workshop. The moment you keep our mind unoccupied with things, negativity sets in. You know, invariably what happens, we tend to think of the information what we heard. That's why people say, as soon means when you're about to sleep, please don't switch on the TV and listen to the news, you know, especially Arnab Goswami. If you hear, that's it, you will just pull your hair and then, you know, you get to hear a lot of things. So it is better that we before going to bed, at least 5-10 minutes to calm our mind and shut ourselves away from all these negative information, so that our subtle mind is free from all this. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to our next slide, which is the email etiquette. Now we are going to see that. So as we all know, there are three kinds of mails that we follow. That one is sharing an information or sharing some information and asking for information from our team, from others. And next one is a request for action. We are telling somebody to do this ABC. Okay. When we are doing this, okay, there are some very important things that we should keep in mind. Point number one is, even if we get like, you know, 50 mails, 100 mails, 200 mails or 500 mails, whatever it is, we have to, it is a mandatory thing. It is very, very important that we respond to the mail within 24 hours. But there may be a situation where we will have to take time, like we will have to prepare a report or something like that. Then it is a basic etiquette that we need to reply to them saying that I have seen your mail, thanks for your email, I will get back to you within such and such time. Within 24 hours, if we can't respond to them if we can't respond to them, then it is our duty, our responsibility to reply to them by when we can give them a
appearance. But anyway, she's conducting a webinar, that's okay.
Yeah. So that is the first thing, okay, that we all should keep in our mind. Next one is to have a very clear subject line, because most of the time what happens, we get an email and then we just reply to that. So the moment we reply to that, whatever was the default subject line, it goes with the same, it just comes as RE reply and then it goes as blank. So whenever we are replying, the subject is very, very important, because that is going to give the essence of the entire message. So always we need to, before we click on to the send option, please ensure that the subject is clear. And there are also instances where we will not have to write any detailed email in the detailed message in the body of the message. So what happens, we can mention that in the subject, and we can also add this tag saying that end of message. Okay, open bracket, EOM is end of message, and close bracket, we can suffix it, because when we are sending just an yes or no message, like, are you available tomorrow for the call? So our reply will be yes. So we don't have to again look into the mail. You can just say in the subject line itself, available, and you can say end of message, EOM. So which means if the person, suppose our managers are really busy, they don't want to open the mail. And so by seeing the subject itself, they will know that, okay, this person is available, not available, whatever it is. If the message is only a single word, or you just want to say that, agreed or not available or anything for that matter, we can mention that. And so subject can also be used for that, not only for a short description, but also to convey a message in a single word or a couple of few words, they just or few words, you can just give that message. And the body, as you all know, the body is the body of the message is the important part, where we tell what the email is all about. And so that will add for different emails, different structure, which you all know, email is not something new to us. We have been doing this maybe for 20-25 years, probably we are used to emails. But why now it is important? Why do you think now we have to be? Because in an office environment, in an office setup, you have this liberty of walking across to your colleague and sharing some information. Now everything should be sent via email or video calling, etc. Video calling, it is still okay because you're seeing the face, you know what they're saying and all that. But email, sometimes it can give an incorrect message if it is not conveyed in the proper manner. Okay, that is the reason we have to be clear and concise with what we are sharing. And it is also very important that we have the signature, because it gives a very profile, which most of you must be following already. So yeah, okay, sure. So it can be, the signature can also be given. And next one is the email should the to CC and BCC. To means it is the main, the message is for the person, so he should take action. CC is just for your information, so they need not take any action. And you can also prioritize your email, which is urgent, high, etc. And reply all should be used wisely. Reply all, we cannot just like that, because sometimes what happens, you will have trail of mails, thread of emails. So if you want to say reply all, you may be sharing something which the others need not necessary for them to know. Another important thing is, please don't respond when our emotions are very high. When our emotions are very high, just park that email in draft, take a walk, have a glass of water, and be prepared for that. And then come back, and then don't reply immediately, because you may not want to share something which might hurt the working relationship. Respect confidentiality and follow which you understand what is confidentiality. So when something is being shared, we need to respect that and not share with others. Follow the thread. As I told you, so suppose what happens, we have been discussing some topic, okay, and we don't want to again say new message and start the story all over from the beginning. So we may want to follow the thread absolutely whenever it is necessary. And let's avoid jargons, which when we are sending especially mails to client and all that, if we use certain jargons which we use in our organization, if the client is not familiar with that, it is very, very important that they might misunderstand the concept from which we are saying. So whenever we are using jargons, let's be very mindful, very careful, and also use only when we know that the client is aware of it, or we can skip and be more elaborate and clear in what we are trying to communicate. Another very, very important thing is to spell the client's name correctly. If we know their name from their signature and all that, let's spell, because incorrectly, if we are going to spell, many of them will get offended. So it is, if we don't know the gender, or because when we work across different location and different people, we may not even know the gender. So if we can just say, greetings of the day or something like that. So in that case, it is a safe bet, rather than saying something, dear sir or madam. Dear sir/madam is also fine, but to be on the safer side, we can say greetings of the day. So these are some of the etiquettes that we can follow for email. So I just want a couple of feedback, like is the pace okay with everyone? Or
I think it's generally good, man. Nobody has commented anything on the thing.
On the, okay,
Chat.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine. Then one question has come from Srilal sir. Like,
Yes.
when should we use BCC? When should we use BCC?
Okay.
And
Fine.
all are saying the pace is great and everything is
Okay.
going fine.
Fine.
Sorry to
Great.
interrupt
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'd like
Yes,
to add
Vimal.
2 more points over here. As you said
Okay.
rightly, like, we should not suit up that mail when we are in a high temper or emotion. Really, I have
True.
been very experienced that if somebody would have been fired, if,
Yes.
even though we don't have a mistake in our side, when
Yes.
we are planning to suit that mail with that same kind of emotion, really that will create much more complication of the
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
So instead of
Agreed.
that, as you rightly said, if we can take a break and if we can calm ourselves, then
Yes.
that emotion will go. Then politely we can give in return that what you have projected is wrong. I don't have any or something like that.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. In second point, when we are drafting that mails, I
Yes.
feel before sending we should read twice and thrice.
Yes.
So even though we are very much highly educated, pakka in grammar or something like that,
Yes.
we may have the chance to skip or do some mistake. Humans are bound to do the mistake. So better to read twice and thrice especially when we are sending a mails to that senior
Management.
organization or external organization.
Yes.
Better to read twice and thrice, then we can do that. And lastly, my third point, if you wanted to convey certain important matter or information to that opposite persons, is it possible? Better we can take a call with that person, orally we can explain to them, then we can start that mail as discussed or as explained. If we can do that, that matter will reach them in that exact manner what we want.
True.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
I
what
agree
we-
with you. When because sometimes what happens when you have so many mails, you may not be in a position to call everyone, speak to them, give them a heads up as to what is coming. So what we can do, your points are well taken. If the person is on the same page, the moment you send a mail, they will immediately get the essence of the message. But if they are in a totally different tangent, and when you're going to send this mail, he will think, from where out of the blue, what does this mean? It will be a total confusion. So in that case, it is always better to give a heads up, tell them that this is what is coming, and then respond to that saying, okay, as we spoke, and then continue with what you have told. Yes. And a very good point, Mr. Arvind has also told that, it is always better to have spell check, grammar check, every check before we send the mail, because every comma and semicolon can convey a different message to the reader, because he or she may be in a totally different mindset. So it is
because
important
the meaning itself will become differ. In case one letter, one word goes wrong, the total meaning itself will differ.
Yes, definitely yes. And somebody has asked when to use BCC. I will just give you an example when to use BCC, okay? Suppose you're sending an email to the customer and you have discussed about that email with a colleague of yours who is also supposed to know know what is that you are trying to convey. Okay, in that case you may want to share that information with the client, but you may not want your client to know that your team members are also aware of it. So you're sending that message to the customer, okay, and you are marking a BCC to your team members, where it is just an information for them to know that you have conveyed this to the customer. So in that case we can use BCC. Is that clear?
Yes.
Someone had asked me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next.
So, ma'am, there's one question. Can we start a formal email or sentence starting as, can you start the
as discussed?
Something like that.
Yeah. We can start. We can start saying, or we can even say we spoke. Just a full stop. We spoke. That means we are not wasting time again telling this is with reference to that was slightly an old way of saying. Means earlier even we used to follow that. We used to say that as we discussed or as per the call we had on so and so date and so and so time and all that. So sometimes what happens, we have so many things to manage. So we'll just say that we spoke. Just a word, we spoke. Enough. So they will get to know. If you are communicating with a person who is terribly busy, who doesn't have time to go through the entire trail of mails, that time we can use that. Otherwise, it is a good practice to say, dear sir, as discussed, because you know whether it is sir or madam, so you can address them, dear sir or dear madam, as discussed, so and so, and we can come to the point straight.
Then one more question, ma'am, is how to handle read requests when I am not interested in disclosing that I have read the mail, or I may want some time to reply.
Yes. See, this read request is always a very, because most of them feel that it is some kind of a spying for somebody to check whether I am really reading or not. So it depends on situation, how we, suppose it is a very important confidential matter which the senior management wants to convey to the other people in the organization. So they might initiate a read request just to ensure that every team member has read that mail and is expecting an action on that. So in that case, it is perfectly fine to send a read request or to receive a read request, and it is our responsibility, our etiquette to reply to that. But there are also other instances where simply like an ad mail which you don't want to attend. In that case to case it varies. But if it depends on what kind of scenario we are talking about the read request which has come.
Sure. Thank you.
Can we move on?
Yeah, please.
Can I make one small point?
Yes, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
See, since emails are used normally, for brief messages rather than long drawn. So one principle which I would recommend that we followed is there's something which is called BLUF, BLUF.
Okay.
It is actually bottom line up front.
Okay.
That is, you don't give trivialities in the beginning. You come to the point straight away in the beginning so that the person is aware of what is going to be discussed, so that he doesn't waste time. His time is not wasted, your time is not wasted.
Okay.
That's
Very
a very
good.
important principle in email communication, as well as other business communication.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Fine. Bottom line up front, is it?
Front. BLUF.
Bottom line up front. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
I have it in chat also, so that.
Bottom line, not loan. Bottom line up front.
Oh, sorry.
Bottom. Okay, great. Fine. So this is just an example of EOM which I said because I was just using it yesterday. I thought I'll just show it to you. So you are just sending a mail. You don't want the person. You see the body of the message is completely blank. Okay, payment to so and so. That's all. You have just attached the attachment. You just want to share the attachment. That's it. End of message. So the person knows that there's nothing in the body that they need. It's just an attachment for their reference. That's it. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Okay. Now there's some activity for all of you. If at all you have got bored, you need to gear up now. Now I'll give you 10 seconds. Please count the number of beans and put it in the chat box. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoever gets the answer right, there is something for you, some gift. Okay, 62, 57, 50, 58, 60, 60, 65. Okay, that's all. 61. So yeah, all are very close. 62, 61, Okay, thank God. I can give the gift to myself. 61. That's all. Come on. 64, 62, 60. Oh, okay. Now I'll freeze it. Okay. So, oh, wow. Okay. Who is that? Subramaniam? Subramaniam.
GSP.
Subramaniam has got the prize. So the answer is 59.
GSV, yeah? GSV.
Okay, so if you can come on video, we can see you. Yeah, and just say 59 so that we all can see you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So 59 is the right answer. So let's give him a big hand. Yeah,
You
thank
can collect
you.
the seeds
Thank
anytime. You
What's
can
that?
collect the seeds anytime.
Okay, great.
It'll be
Actually, I
it'll be
went line
sent
by
to
line.
Oh, okay. That is
Okay,
how.
great.
Yeah. That is how you are going to get it. Yeah. So the peanuts will be sent to you through Dunzo.
Can I send my address?
Yeah. I'll get it from Param sir.
But this is not looks like a peanuts.
It's a bean. Yeah, it's not peanut. But you know, you should be, when we are giving, we should give something better. So which he can use. So we give peanuts.
Correct. Don't give peanuts as
No,
a gift.
yes, especially in this situation, like an energy booster.
Yeah, true. Okay, good. So now we will move on to our most important topic for the day, which is the video meeting etiquettes, okay, which now most of us are on video calls and video meetings. So what are some of the etiquettes that we can have? So I will definitely share with you all the points which I have. If you think you can also add a few more to that, you're most welcome. Let's share the information together, okay? First and the foremost thing is to keep the call, the video call date and time in mind, and then log on a couple of minutes earlier. As we all know, we as Indians are not very prompt in maintaining the time, but then we can definitely improve on that. When we have back-to-back meetings and all that, it is sometimes very difficult because the meetings might get extended and all. In that case, we have to inform the leader, whoever has initiated the call. So just on this, while we are on this context, we will say the person who has initiated the call as the leader and others as the participants, okay? So it is our duty to inform the leader that we are not in a position to join the call because of so and so reason. So please ensure that we log in on time. So if it is at 10 o'clock, let's be present by 9:55, 5 minutes earlier is fine. And while we are on call, it is better that we put all the phones on, or the phones on mute. And before a person is sharing their point, please state your name first, because what happens when we have about 50 people or 100 people in the call, suddenly somebody is talking, then the leader will be wondering who is talking, can I take your point, like that. So instead of giving that kind of an uncertainty, we can always state our name first, Archana here and Damu here, and then continue the call, and so that we can we will not we can go with the flow, and the leader also knows that who is sharing their point. You want to share something very important, so please state your name before you speak. That is the first point. Next important point is this is what most of us are experiencing now. So first, when we join the call, it is always better to keep the video on. Then for various reasons, for example, you don't want the bandwidth might get slow and all that, so you may not. Also, we can tell that when the program starts, when you're going to share something, you can put off the video and only put it on when you want to convey some point. State your name and then convey. When you're conveying some point, you can put your video on. And let's ensure that the background noise is not there. So as I told you, finding our own spot or space at home, where we don't get disturbed, is very important. Another important thing is not to have too many things at the background. You know, sometimes what happens, people instead of listening to what we are saying, they'll be looking at the background. Hey, what is that? Hey, that's a very beautiful picture out there, and people will be more interested in what's going on at the background. So it is important that we either keep the background plain, or we can have our company logo, or you know, just one frame which doesn't distract much. So let's not have too many things at the background which will distract the participants when you're trying to make a point, when you're trying to share something. And light, it is better that we have enough lighting in the room, and the light should be on your face rather than the light behind, because what happens when the light is right behind, it might, your face may not be clear to the audience. So you can still have light somewhere in the front, and then the light falling onto your face rather than falling you know, back. Then it is very difficult for trainers like us, because we are so used to talking with you know, our body language. We have a lot of movements and all that. Now we have to restrict whatever we say within the frame of the video call, you know, the video. So whatever we are trying to share, whatever we are trying to express, everything should be within the frame. You know, sometimes what you see as a picture which says here, most of the time you see that, you know, the person would have kept the video like this, and you can see only the forehead part. You know, sometimes what happens, it's very important how we place the camera and ensure that there is no not many things stored up in the background, which will distract the participants from paying attention to what you are trying to convey. Then, very, very important thing. So see, this background is also very, very nice. If you see, I will just keep notepad and pen ready. I do have that pointer, which is going to come now. So we will just, if you see this, this screen, at the background, you have a few books, and it is nice. So the focus is on the person who is speaking, and not on what is, you know, what is there behind. So we can have something like this, very, you know, clean, and or even a plain background is fine. And when I am initiating the call, so as I said, so the leader should state the purpose of the call. Sometimes what happens, we would have had a meeting, a lengthy discussion for 1.5 hours, and at the end of the day, people will ask, what is that you discussed? You know what, we had a wonderful call. The call went on for 2 hours. We'll say that with a lot of pride. Okay, fine, but what is that? What was the purpose of the call? What is that you, that I don't know. You know, many of them will say that, that I don't know, but we had a very nice call. Huh? The call was superb. The leader gave all important points. Yes, okay, fine, everything is fine, but what did the leader say? So it is very important for the person who has initiated the call. The leader should state the purpose of the call in the beginning, or even before, when you are sending the email itself, give a heads up so that people are aware what they do the required preparation before coming for the call. Not that when you on the meeting, suddenly they will ask, oh, so what was that figure? What was the gross amount? Then you, sir, which amount, sir, what amount, sir? Like that, we you know, it will be a very embarrassing situation. So leader should state the purpose of the call, and correct choice of words should be used. Okay, for example, when we are discussing the topic in hand, the right words, the tone. Okay, so I'm going to share a very important point. So when you say important, you are giving stress on that particular word, important, and so that everyone knows that you're going to share something very important. You know, tomorrow there is a meeting at 11. So stress on the word, on the key words, which is important, at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So when you say that, we are aware that that particular word is of its significance, it is important. Then the speed of delivery. It is important that, you can't be talking too fast, or you cannot be talking too slow that the other person will go off to sleep. So it is important that we maintain the speed of our delivery in such a way that we have to ensure that we cover the points what we are supposed to cover, and also maintain time management. Now today our session is for so and so time, so we have to ensure that we don't waste anybody's time. We have to stick on to that. So very beautifully, if 60 participants are there, and if you are wasting 1 minute, which means ideally you have wasted 60 minutes, right? So time management is very, very important when we are organizing the call and video meeting. And at the end, summarize the call. So this will actually, very beautifully, there is a saying, tell what you're going to tell it, and tell what you already told. So this is what in the essence of presentation, they always say that tell what you're going to tell, okay? Tell it and tell what you already told. So when you follow that, what happens tomorrow, even if the person doesn't remember anything else as what has been discussed in the video meeting, at least what has been told repeatedly for repeatedly thrice will be remembered by the participants. Okay, all fine? All fine?
Yes, yes.
Good, great, okay,
Good,
fine.
Good.
Next, we will move on to the next, okay? Now, like how we have certain responsibilities that we have shared in the previous slide by the leader, there are also some things which the participants can or need to ensure. These are all etiquettes, okay? Don't be late for the meeting, because what happens last minute when you log in, there is a tendency that your mind is not settled. So you may not, you may not share your point, or something can happen. So let's not be late. Let's not do multitasking in the background, like what we see this person in the picture. Sometimes what happens, video will be on, but you will be checking something very important. Probably this is related to the meeting, but this gives a very negative message to people who are there in the meeting, thinking that you are doing something else when this person is giving the, sharing the message. So when somebody is talking, because we are all in the virtual thing, and when someone is talking, you don't know whether, because when we are in the physical meeting, we know this person is talking, or from the body language we can make out. Now body language is zero. Everything that we can make out is only from the tone. So the tone should be clear. It should not be too loud. It should not be too slow. So as we discussed earlier, so when somebody is interrupting, you can just, as told earlier, state your name and then share your point, and let's not interrupt when someone else is talking. Let's be prepared to discuss the topic in hand, and don't carry on side conversation. It happens sometimes in the chat. We can see that during the main chat, there'll be one side conversation going between two colleagues. That can also happen sometimes. Okay, always keep a notebook and a pen. Somebody had already shared that point. Thank you, because it was already there. Because what happens, while we are discussing some topic, suddenly some point will come to our mind. Oh, I need to say this, but someone else would have started talking on something slightly different. Then you may tend to forget. So when you have the pen and the paper with you, then you can definitely make a note of it and proceed, and then share that at a later stage. And of course, what we discussed earlier, dress up professionally, be presentable, which is very, very important. Men can wear pastel color shirt, black is not preferred, and white also. Sometimes white is actually a very good color, but preferably pastel colors are recommended. And for ladies, of course, sari with a high collar blouse, and kurtas and Western wear, like depending on whichever where you are comfortable, you can choose. But the important point here is, let's not use big flowers or floral design costumes, which is not recommended, especially when we are on a video call, because professionally it doesn't look nice. So it's better we wear something very subtle, or very where pastel colors are recommended both for men and women. and like stripes and close stripes and all that, and of course pajama is a big no. Okay, and because we will never know when sometimes we unscheduled call or something, it is always recommended we dress up and be presentable for our video call. Is that fine? All okay? Done?
Yeah.
Done?
Yes.
Okay, good. So next slide is again a small activity. I will give you only 6 seconds, and here what is the, here you don't have to count the number of items. Here you have to register the number of items. Please don't use your phone and click the picture. Some of us are very smart. We know how to use the system well. So let's not click the picture with our phone. Let's try to remember the maximum number of items, and then I will pick randomly anyone, whoever is stating the number, and you should tell me what are the items that you have seen. Okay, I'm going to give you only 6 seconds. Okay, friends, is that fine? 6 seconds. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sure. So okay, fine, done. Now let's come back to the chat and see. Hello, everybody. What are the items? How many items you saw? 24. Wow. Vimal, you're very smart. 23, 31. Wow. Arvind sir is very, very smart. Okay, now whoever gives me the maximum number, no, they will have to give the names of the items as well. Someone remembers only the masala dosa.
SP, you can give the chat to everyone. I think SP is saying guitar. Abdul Kalam.
Okay. Okay. Sir, first you give me the number, sir. Whoever gets the maximum number, I will ask them to give the list of items.
I think 31 is the maximum.
31 is the maximum.
Yeah.
Okay, which means Arvind sir has grasped the maximum number of items from this. Arvind sir, will you be able to tell everything?
Oh, no way.
Okay, at least 2, 3.
Yeah, there was a gumboot, there was a purse, there was a bottle opener, then there was a tweezer.
Okay. Great.
All those things. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Initially, I thought I had to
Excellent.
remember the items. Then I
Okay.
figured it has to be counted. Okay.
Yes. No. You have to count, and not only count, sir. You have to remember and say what are the things that you saw.
Very difficult.
Okay. Okay. Dress, guitar, bag, books. Great. Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay.
My first look went to the bottle opener.
I thought the ladies would say lipstick.
But almost all have got Dr. Abdul Kalam. So I think he has stolen the show.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. So as we all know, this is just an activity to, when we discuss too many points, and then it's just a deviation, as you all know. So basically when we do this kind of an activity, we tend to look at things which we like the most, like, Abdul Kalam, and then many of you would have also seen the coronavirus, I'm sure, because that is one thing which is there in everyone's mind now. So coronavirus would have been another thing where most of them would have told. And of course, bottle opener and lipstick and handbag and watch depends on our priority. Many ladies, there is a chance that you look into the lipstick and this iron thing and all that. there is a multi-spice bottle and all. So depending on what our liking, what we use, and what we where we are located. Suppose my screen was in a different, I would have looked into something else. So this is just an act. So Param sir is telling we'll take a break for 5 minutes. Do you all think we need a break for 5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm okay continuing. I don't know if everyone is ready.
How many more we have to go, ma'am? Like if we have about half an hour more to go, then we could take just a 5-minute break if it is okay.
Yeah, only half an hour more. By 11:30 we will we'll wind up the session. So we have 3 more important topics to handle. Now one is data security and POSH, and whether POSH is applicable while working from home. That's all.
Yeah, then as a general convention, we take just a 5-minute stretch break. Just move out, let it be online. Everything can be online.
Okay,
Everything
fine,
can continue.
Yeah,
that is right.
Yeah.
Exactly 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it will just take another half an hour to complete, Rajesh. So, okay, Rajesh is telling you can continue. Okay, just take 5 minutes break. We will have a chit chat and then we will continue. Whoever wants to stay back and we can have a chit chat. Others, whoever wants to take a break, you can just break for 5 minutes, and 11:14, please come back. 11:14.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I like to take a chance to introduce Mr. Purushothaman, Dr. Purushothaman, who is a senior GM HR in Alsec Technologies. He's having a rich experience over there. So I'd like to have some feedbacks and his experience, if we are all okay.
Yeah, definitely. We can as well use the time for that. Yes, sir. Mr. Purushothaman, happy to have you here.
Welcome, sir. Please speak.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some technical issues.
Yeah, no issues. You can share your views, Vimal, in the meantime.
Yeah, really, I'm happy that I have been participating in this session. It's a wonderful session. Really, it's like, very useful to each and everyone. But now the participants is very limited, I guess. But really, this could reach many of that officials. They can utilize and they can understand that etiquette, how we supposed to be when we are in that, official manner. Till the time we will be in work from home option.
Yes,
I don't think so. Moving forward also, how long we are going to be like this, and how soon we are going to resume our duties to that office.
Yes, we don't know. Yes.
Further 6 more months, as per my understanding, and all these IT professionals work from option has been extended till December.
Yes.
So in such scenario, they should also follow this kind of a work from home etiquette.
Yes.
It is very much useful to everyone.
Yes. Thank you, Vimal. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will finish the data security, friends. Okay. So data security, as we all know that, when we are working for an organization, by default, the organization will take care of most of the security features. Okay. They would have installed the antivirus in the laptop that they are providing. Most of the things they would have taken care. So I'm not getting into the details of data security or data protection in that context as such. But what are some of the etiquettes that we need to follow? That is what we are going to focus now in this in this module. So when it comes to data security, taking the service provider of VPN is very good for the simple fact that the user from where he is using his IP will be masked, it will be hidden, and encrypting the data transfer during transit, because you will be sending all confidential data, confidential information when you are working from home to the server. So VPN, the service providers will actually help you to do that in a more effective way. So it is also important that the user's location is being masked. So using VPN is a very good alternative while you're working from home. Next important thing is as I told you, the antivirus, the system, the companies would have already taken care of it. And other thing is to ensure that the users are using strong password, which we all know. And it is also mandatory that we change our password, in the system which we are working, and also to our Wi-Fi router, the Wi-Fi router and all that, we have to change the password every now and then. This ensures data security. And also, we have to ensure that we don't store confidential data in a pen drive or something like that. It can happen that you tend to misplace it. So please ensure that we don't store confidential data in a pen drive, and then it is not advised. So let's keep it in cloud, or let's keep it in the location where our organization generally supports that, and then that will be a better way to handle that. And another also important, because we are working from home, we might have taken a printout of any confidential data, and children at home sometimes, they just pick up some paper and start drawing on it, and then later what happens, we might think that it's a waste paper, and there is a chance that we put it in the bin. So confidential data cannot be it cannot float around like that. So it is better that we keep, while we are working from home, we have that space, and all our printouts and all our data, everything is secured at home. I have a friend of mine who works for Standard Chartered Bank, and her husband works for Citibank in the US, and both of them are in technology, and both of them are in coding. So I keep wondering, how these people ensure data security. How is that they balance at home without sharing any information and all that. So it is very, very important when we are handling office stuff, the confidential data, that we keep it with care and securely maintained. And always have a plan B in place. Suppose we're working on some project which many of now with the situation, we don't know when we'll fall sick, what will happen to us. So the entire project cannot come to a standstill. So for all that reason, we have to ensure that we have a plan B in place. There is also another team member who can pitch in and will be able to handle the situation, whatever. So we have to foresee all this, because that is the situation we are in right now. So taking, so it is always also, when you are working locally on your system, please take a backup. Backup doesn't mean that we take in a pen drive and throw the pen drive here and there. It has to be done in a systematic way, probably an external hard drive, and the hard drive is secured and kept in a safe place. Beware of fishy mails, and what happens, it can wipe off your data, it can wipe off your hard disk. So beware of fishy mails. Don't open if it is not come from a valid email ID. And another important thing, my dear friends, because we are all working in isolation, it is recommended that we do a FaceTime or a Zoom meeting or whatever, GeoMeet. Now we have enough and more apps to meet and talk and discuss. So if we know that any of our colleagues are in quarantine, then it also is a responsibility for us to talk to them through virtual media, okay? So face-to-face meeting, Zoom meeting, please let's encourage, for the simple fact what I told in the beginning, that when we are working in isolation, when we are working away from office, we still want to see face-to-face, because that will give us a positive, we may not think, oh, what if I don't see their face, I'm happy not seeing my, some of the faces like that, but it definitely matters, having a face-to-face meeting, Zoom meeting and all that will definitely enhance the psychology of the person once the meeting is over. We also have some other events and all that happening. The moment, your energy level just goes up. So it is important, we are all social animal in that way, if you see. So we need to see people, we need to, so that is what we encourage. So the most awaited topic for today, POSH. So how many of us are eager to know more about POSH? Are you really liking it? Okay, with my wife working in IBM, with my, we don't exchange anything inside. Yeah, correct. Very good. Yeah. Fine. Excellent. So I have got some feedback also for data security, because it's very, very important when while we are working from home. Maybe the husband and wife are working for competitors. So we may not even, what is expected of us, what we are not supposed to discuss, it is up to us. So the etiquette is, nobody is there to keep a camera and look at us, what we are saying, what we are not saying, but it is up to us to follow it diligently. Okay. Fine, posh. So when it is posh, my first gratitude to my guru, Deepa and Rafiq, and I am diving into the topic with their blessing. Posh, prevention of sexual harassment. Okay, so prevention of sexual harassment is posh. So what does the law say? The law say that sexual harassment of women at workplace is Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. That is the POSH law. So prohibition, so the companies do have a policy. They say that they totally prohibit, they don't encourage any incidents of POSH in their organization. But at times there are incidents, there are instances where things happen, things go wrong. We have seen that. So what are some of the preventive measures which an organization can take? Okay, that we will see that, and we will go step by step to understand the framework. So, no women shall be subject to sexual harassment at workplace. It's not a matter of choice, but it's the constitutional right of women employees. It is the organization's responsibility to provide a safe working environment for women to work with dignity. And they are not influenced or they don't get succumbed to any kind of harassment. That is what the law says. The law, even if there are one employee in the organization, the law is still applicable. Even if you have only women employees, 5 women employees, you can still say, I have only 5 women employees. Why should the law be applied? Sexual harassment is generally between the 2 genders. I have only 5 women employees. Why should I adhere to the law? No. Whether you have only women employees or whether you have only the male employees or only men working, the law is applicable. You have offices at different locations. For example, you may have your head office in Chennai. You may have your other branch office in Delhi, Bombay at different locations. They don't get to meet. They don't, but if your company is registered, okay, then the law is applicable. It is applicable to organization, to education institutions, to sports academy, anything. If it is a registered unit, the POSH law is applicable and it is mandatory. It is mandatory. We will see what is the consequence if we don't comply to it. Okay. Is it clear? The first step is clear? All clear?
Yes.
Yes? Great.
Yes.
I'll just quickly see the chat session. Yes, fine. Great. Now next. When you say sexual harassment, what are some of the categories of sexual harassment? Any physical contact and advances, a demand or request for sexual favors, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, or any other unwelcome physical, verbal, non-verbal conduct, any non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So this is sexual harassment. What should the organization do? So as I told you, if we are saying that we are totally prohibiting sexual harassment, but what are some of the preventive measures that organizations should do? They can have, see, when you join any organization newly, they will give you the code of conduct, right? So this is how you need to behave. This is how you need to, your timetable, everything will be given. Similarly, the organization should also have the anti-sexual harassment policy in place, and it should be prominently stuck in places where employees visit often. For example, the pantry area, the washroom, or the boardroom, or the reception area. And it should be prominently placed so that people know that the organization has taken it up. This is a serious offense if it is committed. So the anti-sexual harassment policy should be drafted well, and it should be prominently displayed at different locations in the organization. Then what happens if there are more than 10 employees in the organization? The company must have an internal committee. It is called IC team, internal committee team. This committee team will have a minimum of 4 members. There is a presiding officer. Usually it will be a lady who is responsible, who is in charge of a very senior, who is having a very senior position in the company. And there should be an external member who is not part of the organization, who is preferably part of an NGO or who knows about this law. And the other 2 persons can be of different, within the organization, any 2 employees who knows little bit about the law, who has got trained, who knows about it. We would prefer to have 5 an even number instead of an, we would have odd number in the committee. Why? Because we can go with the majority when we have to take certain decision. Because if 2 of them are for and 2 of them are against, then it will be very difficult to come to a conclusion. So we prefer to have an odd member team. There is at least 5 members in the internal committee team. It is called IC team. Earlier it was called Internal Complaints Committee. Now it is Internal Committee. Okay. So when is internal committee? When will it come into picture? Only when you have 10 or more employees. Okay. If your organization is having only 9 employees, then you need not have an internal ICT. Okay. If you have 10 or more, it is mandatory. You have to have, and the names should also be written. Who is the presiding officer? Who is the external member? Who is the other 2 members? The IC. This ICT, again, the position and the people, there can be a re-election, new people can come and all that. There is a different rule for all that. Then another thing is, we should conduct the awareness program regularly. The employees should be, both women and men should be aware of such a thing. If we don't, what happens usually when we do a training and then over a period we tend to forget, right? So every now and then, regularly, maybe once in 6 months, the rule is not specified how frequently it has to be done, but it has to be done regularly. So as a policy, it is good that if the organization does this kind of an awareness program once in 6 months, it will be good. Okay. So the employees are aware of it. They know that, okay, I should do this, I shouldn't do this, this is what it is, this is what. So awareness program should, and even the IC members should be trained as to what is that they need to know, what are the new changes that has come in the law and all that. IC members should also undergo this kind of a training. This is very, very important. And the annual report should mention about that the company is following the rules of POSH, and the director report should mention, it's a non-financial disclosure, but the director's report should mention that the company is adhering to the laws of POSH. Now let's see a case. I want few answers from all of you friends. Sheila and Babu works for ABC Limited. Sheila is very friendly and talks to everyone cheerfully. Babu sends her a WhatsApp message which makes Sheila feel very uneasy. She replies to Babu saying not to send her such messages. After 2 weeks, Babu again forwards an inappropriate message. Is it a POSH case? Can Sheila approach IC?
A lot of people are saying yes.
Great. If the message was received during office hours at workplace is what Chitra is saying. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Very good. Okay. Fine. So the answer to this is yes, it is a posh case because first of all, now when it comes to workplace, her home is her workplace, right? Now she's at home. So workplace, when we say this posh is a sexual harassment against women at workplace.
Sound ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ boss ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ boss irritable full
somebody is talking. Please kindly put your phone on mute. So what happens is the home is the workplace. Okay, so when she is at home, she is receiving this message. So even all social media, whether it's WhatsApp or whether it's Facebook, if at all she has already shared her concern that she is not willing to receive such kind of messages, she is feeling uneasy, uncomfortable, and in spite of that, if she is getting a message, yes, it is a posh case, and she can definitely raise this case with the internal committee team. So the internal committee, generally what happens is that there will be a common ID which will be accessed by the committee members. So she can send out an email, so it will be registered as a posh case, and once it is registered as a posh case, it has certain guidelines, certain rules which it has to follow. Like we have to respond within so and so date, we have to the entire case, we have to come to a conclusion within, there's all timelines and time frame for that, which will be in the main, posh scenario. So what are the timelines and by when so the person who is raising the case will be called as a complainant, and the person who the accused will be called as a respondent. Okay, so the complainant has all the authority to send out an email with proof, because the proof is always good whenever we are handling, as many of you are know about the company policies and all that. Whenever there is a proof, it is good. So she can have that as a proof, and she can raise that with the IC team, saying that even in spite of her warning, this person has sent an message, and then the IC will come into action. So what is the what is that IC decides? It depends on the various multiple discussions that both the parties will have. The final thing is the termination. That is the ultimate thing. He will be terminated from the job. That will be the final thing. So there are also interim steps which can be taken, which after discussing with the complainant and respondent, the team, the IC members will come to a conclusion. So I'm happy that here all of you have given the right answer. Now, how is POSH applicable while working from home? Yes, work from home, which means our home is our workplace. Definition of workplace is therefore extendable and goes beyond the four walls of our office premises. So it indeed applies to the virtual world. So which means Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, anything, if at all the message is not, it is inappropriate, and if the person feels that even after warning, she's getting such kind of messages, then it is not good. And another thing is, even dressing has to be appropriate, where we can't wear something very weird where the other person feels uncomfortable. So even dressing is important. And one more thing is, when we are calling, when there is a video call scheduled during the odd hours, for example 9:30 or 10 p.m. So as I told you, as an etiquette, we have to inform about the call well in advance. You cannot randomly call, video call at odd hours. So it has to be informed. That is an etiquette. And also, if people are calling and disturbing, sending message during odd hours, that is also not advisable. So people will have to take care of that to ensure that that doesn't happen. And these are the responsibilities of the IC team as the internal committee team. That is what I told you, that they have to include all this in the director's report, where they should mention that how many cases were received, how many were closed, how many were settled, how many are still open more than 90 days, and how many awareness programs were conducted, and whether the action is taken by the, because what happens, IC will give the findings, whatever the conclusion, this is what it is, this person, whatever he has told is correct, whatever, all their findings will be consolidated and submitted, and final action the management will take. As per the recent amendment law, under the company accounts rule, the director's report should contain the compliance of POSH Act. And what if they don't comply? What happens? So initially they will have to pay a fine of 50,000 if they don't comply. And if they have more than 10 employees and if they don't comply to the act, they have to pay 50,000 first. That will be a fine, and a warning will be given to them. And even second time also this amount will be charged. And in spite of that, if they are not if they don't comply, then even their trade license can be cancelled. So nobody will take that risk. Rather, it is better to create this awareness amongst people, and to ensure that this doesn't happen, because this is something which we have to, that is why initially when I said, I told it is prohibited, and what are the preventive measures that we have to take as an organization, and what are the redressal is nothing but how we are going to address. We are going to address this through various mechanisms. We have the IC team, we have all the support system in place to ensure that this goes smooth. So this is if you don't comply to POSH laws, this will be the consequence of that. So with that, we are coming to the end of our session. So I will quickly recap. So how to prepare ourselves when we are working at home, and what are some of the routines which we can follow. I think we all remember that having a healthy system, doing your exercise, everything is important, and following a routine, having a to-do task, and having a time block which clearly specifies the time for work and for quality, everything, having a clear-cut bifurcation, and our email etiquettes. Most of us are aware, we send emails on a regular basis because that has become the norm now. That is the, that is what we do day in and out. And video meeting etiquettes, we have seen what are some of the security measures that we can take while we're working from home. And an introduction to POSH, as I told you initially, POSH by itself is a one-day program. So I've just given you the glimpse of what it is and how it is applicable while when you're working from home. Even when we get any messages, inappropriate messages on our phone or through email or through any WhatsApp or social media, it is and if the lady has already shared her consensus that she's not feeling okay with it, and this has to be taken up seriously, it will come under the POSH case. And video, even we can't, the way we present ourselves, the dressing is also important, which we have seen. We have mentioned the etiquettes which we can follow, and calling somebody during wee hours. So it's better to send them the notification well in advance, so that the person will also keep the members at home informed that there is a call. It happens when we're working for multinational company, we might have to speak to clients who are in different geographical location, which demands that we might have to sit up late for a call. But the communication is key. The communication is what is very, very important, which will also save us, which will also prevent we will also have a proof if somebody, you cannot accuse of some mistakes that we have done. So if we keep the communication clear and concise and crisp, so there is no confusion. With this, I would thank each one of you for giving your valuable time on a Saturday, and that to almost 2 hours sharing our information, what we know. I have also learned so much from you all. And I hope you like the session. And in case if you have any queries, the Q&A session is open. Thank you so much.